Hey guys, it's Taku. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. We are officially in the summer. I am done with university for now. I have graduated, and I figured we would jump into more anime content, as I said a while back. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is introduce what this little series of videos is going to be. I'm going to be recommending film videos and kind of just recapping my watches on a weekly basis for you guys. So every week, I don't know the date yet, but every week you can look forward to a new film review, just like the one that you're about to see now. Again, these aren't really reviews. They're going to be more of just kind of loose thoughts, totally unscripted. But for more of my thoughts and detailed things, definitely check out the blog below, where I will hopefully have links to my more in-depth thoughts. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first film of the summer, and this is, wow, a heavy one. That's right, we've got Fate Stay Night, the movie, Heaven's Feel Part 1, Presage Flower. Now, if you are totally new to the Fate universe, Fate is essentially about the Holy Grail War. It is a big tournament where mages come together with masters, and they duke it out for the Holy Grail, the omnipotent, wish-granting chalice that I'm sure we all know is not quite as omnipotent or as wish-granting as we'd like it to be. This is the third time through Shiro Emiya's route through this. It's based off the video game of the same name. We've got Unlimited Blade Works in the past. We have the original Fate Stay Night, which was done by Studio Dean, and this is the third iteration in the final part of the route, which is Heaven's Feel. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm entirely new to Heaven's Feel. I've avoided spoilers after all these years that the film has been out. By the way, this film is, I think, 2-hour film, and it came out in like 2017. So it's still pretty recent, especially the Blu-ray releases of these films. They're great, they are expensive though. But of course, the film is a fantasy action film. It's got lots of intense and great fights from Ufotable. One of the things about this film, though, that I will say is that unlike other Fate stories, there is much less combat, at least in this first movie. Instead, we have a lot of mood setting and kind of tension building and just setting the scene for what will be this great 3-act play across all 3 films, telling the story of Heaven's Feel. It moves at a pretty fast pace, but at the same time, this first movie does feel a little slow. There are parts of it that are just, graphics, just background scenery, or just following a classmate to school. Little things, though, that I'm sure will build up to a really big and fantastic reveal as the film series goes on. Now, one of the things I will commend this series about is for not having a lot of action, or at least until, the very end of it. It's gorgeous. Every single shot of this movie could be a wallpaper for your background. It's wonderful. The artistry of this film, it's perfect. If you're going in for just the visuals alone, I will say that Heaven's Feel absolutely delivers. In fact, if we're being completely honest, I will say it's probably the most beautiful Fate thing we've gotten so far. I mean, it is the newest, so it naturally makes sense that as Ufotable does more of these, as they flesh out the Fate verse, we are, of course, getting more in-depth look at just different characters and backgrounds and scenery. Everything feels very familiar in this film, yet very dressed up and wonderful to look at. And a surprise for me was that Yuki Kajira is back on with the music. I know she has taken a break for some stuff, and then of course Calafina, which is sadly disbanded, but she is back with compositions for this film, and so of course the music is right up there, giving Fate Zero dark, gritty, magical energy. It's awesome. Now we can go ahead and talk about some of the story stuff. Of course, this isn't going to be an actual review. I'm just kind of hitting on some of the things that are coming off the top of my head. So whatever we get here is whatever we got. But from what I remember of the film, aside from it being a little slow, and that's okay, it is the first film. It is setting the groundwork for a lot of stuff to come. But what I've understood that this first film is that the characters are as you remember them, but also slightly not quite. Because, as you know, every Fate route explores a new character, and this time we've got Sakura Mato here on the cover. And Sakura isn't a lot of people's favorite character. She's not my favorite character, and that's totally fine if she's yours. But one of the appeals of this route is that it's got to get us as viewers and fans to really sympathize with Sakura's character. And I will say that they're hitting it off quite strongly with this movie. I really love the dynamic between Sakura and Shiro. It feels a lot more genuine and crafted in this one, and again, it makes sense. It's because this is Shiro's route with Sakura. So while the others are about exploring his routes with Saber and with Rin, instead all of our genuine reactions and a lot of screen time is with Sakura herself. And with Sakura, of course, comes Shinji. And Shinji is a Class A act. He's a terrible human being. He continues to be the scum of the earth. And I'm sure that as, again, we watch more of this, we'll see that he's probably even worse than we imagine him to be. On the Serpent side, we've also got some new players in this game. I'm going to keep all of them for your viewing pleasure. They will be your surprise. But I will say that there's a lot of death right off the bat in this first film. Like, lots of it. In fact, that's the biggest surprise for me and the biggest interest in watching this movie. As I was watching Heaven's Feel Presage Flower, I was, like, expecting some characters to live. I saw certain characters and I was like, oh yeah, you were the big baddie of the first one, or you were the big baddie of the second one. You will probably be a pain in the butt this time around. And before I know it, bam, they're gone. And that's just it. So Presage Flower is marked with lots of death and grieving, as it is, you know, with this kind of celebration of Sakura's character and trying to get us to love her a lot more. I will say that the surprising aspects of characters exiting the stage or entering the stage at surprising intervals is what's going to keep people coming back to this film series. Because, yeah, you've seen it once with Fate Stay Night 2006, you've seen it again with Unlimited Blade Works. What has Heaven's Feel got to bring to the table besides exploring a new character? And that's going to be that different characters die when they are killed. And that's what makes this awesome. That's what makes more Fate just wonderful, because you are experiencing different outcomes of what is essentially the same climax. It's just the way it all comes together, of course. It is slightly different depending on who's there to play their part and who's not. And so with that said, will I be continuing this story? Yes, of course. I gave this first film probably a 9 out of 10. You're probably thinking, Taku, why, you know, you've had some complaints with this film. Why wouldn't you give it more? And I will probably bump it up to a 10 if the final 2 films deliver, which I have a feeling that they will. I do have the second movie on the way. Second Blu-ray is coming to me soon, so hopefully this summer you'll get to see another revisit of Heaven's Feel. But, you know, those are kind of my quick overview thoughts. Let me know about any of your thoughts over this film down in the comments below. I would love to hear them. And as I said, this was it. It was a quick little spotlight on this movie. I hope to be showing you guys more movies like this. Maybe some that are a little bit less entry heavy, so like this one carries with it the whole baggage of the Freight franchise. So if you didn't want to get into that, I'll have some Ghibli movies probably along the way, maybe some Satoshi Kon, something that's just one-offs here and there that'll be really wonderful for you or your family, or yeah. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Definitely subscribe for more, and I will see you next week with a new film review, highlight video, I don't know. Till next time.